So my granddad used to have 500 dairy.
Yeah.
We used to milk by hand.
I want 30 is what I'm aiming for, 30 dairy.
Do you know they used to milk them? All the guys from local villages that worked in the neighbouring farms used to go to the farm on the way to work, milk 5 cows. They all knew what 5 cows were theirs.
Yeah.
They'd go off to work, come back at night, milk 5 in the evening as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'd get a pint of milk to go to work with and a pint of milk to go home with.
Really?
Yeah.
But that was the wage.
And that was the wage.
Yeah, people would do that. And yeah, you can't do that now because you've got to pay a minimum wage and everything else. It's well, luckily we don't have to milk them by hand.
Yeah.
Oh, you're Sally, aren't you? Yes. It's yeah. So this is, we started with 1 Angus cross.
Right.
Yeah, Angus Holstein. And now we're milking 12 each day. We've got 1 more to dry up and this one here to calf, and then we've got another 5 heifers, I think, to come through.
Right.
Hello, Red.
Now you're if I'm right, you're milking calf at foot, aren't you?
Yeah. So not all cows will keep a calf, and we only keep the calf on the cows for 10 to 12 weeks.
Yep.
But we're just trying this nose ring. If you see the calf there,
yeah,
to the left of the nose ring, and we're just trying nose ring in the calf at 10 weeks to see.
So the idea of that is obviously to stop them.
So that'll stop that
sucking the nickel. Yeah.
But the other calf we tried it on just kept putting the nose ring out.
Right.
At the minute we're not getting any waste milk, so I'm not worried about that calf sucking off its mother still.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if we had another order come in,
yeah, it might change
like
things.
50 litres or 100 litres a week, then we might have to, because it's old enough to be weaned, we might just take her off, but we'll try the nose ring 1 more time. And we found, like on that one, it's worked really, really well. The calf's eating grass, the mother to it's really quite calm.
Yep.
But not every dairy cow, the same as beef cows, want to be a mother.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay?
Calm.
So, yeah, she's moody cow, so she's not so friendly.
Oh, right.
And then we move, like, this paddock will do them for a day, and then we'll move paddocks. So, like, they grazed there 2 days ago on that piece there, and then they won't go back there until we run out of grass, and there's another 12 acres to go across here.
Wow.
And we'll just move the paddocks that way, so we'll get 3 strips out of it, so it's 2 to 3 days, depending on how they're eating, and we go 35 paces. We'll do 1 more pace because we're leaving a break up against the hedge for the wild birds.
And is that a natural laser, or is that something you've drilled?
So this is drilled. So this is just.
That looks like that's a pretty good combination.
Yeah. So you've got chicory clovers with all your glasses. There's about 5 different clovers in there.
Yeah.
Obviously, we didn't drill the dandelions. They just love this area.
Yeah.
Or the thistles. And then we've got beef cows behind us, where you can see.
Yep. Are yours as well?
Yeah, that's ours as well. And that was just in from arable, and that's just what's come.
Right.
So straight behind the combine.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you just put them straight on beyond the combine, yeah?
Yeah. So whatever grass has grown.
Yeah.
And we've added legumes to a couple of them by hand. There's 21 acres there, 3 paddocks. And then the same with the beef cows. We'll move. We had some thistle which are in there, and we're moving 4 times a day, so we get extra density.
Yeah.
More trampling, and then they will actually graze the thistle. But there's not much where they are, so we're just moving them once a day. So we'll change the move to the.
And this would be something, once they finished at that level, that'd be an ideal thing to put the chickens over, wouldn't it?
Yes, yes. But the one thing we've noticed, and I do go on about it, is 2 years ago we didn't see any dung beetles. We see a few last year, and I think we're on 9 species of dung beetles this year.
Right.
And every dung we pick up. And now what we're noticing is we can't find the dungs as much.
Right.
And the dung that we are finding, the fly eggs in it are nearly non-existent.
Right.
So we're hoping that's going to have a knock-on effect with the flies, and then obviously using less fly treatment. And yeah. And with using the forbs like the chicory and the plantain and things like that, and daily moves, we're not really got to worry about the worming so much.
Brilliant.
So it'd be more of a natural worming. So therefore, it's all beneficial for the.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things we noticed heading down here this time, that's the first time this year I've seen it, window screens covered in green fly.
Yes.
Loads of flies about this year.
Yeah.
And whether that's because of what we've all been doing, playing our little part in the regenerative side, and acres and acres.
There's a lot more, like even like arable farms that do put their spray rounds on, and rightfully so, but they're putting out winter cover crops.
Yeah.
Yes, they're spraying them off or ploughing them in or whatever,
Yeah.
but they're putting manure crops out, cover crops. That's all got to be helping with the
Absolutely.
ecosystem and populations.
Yeah,
isn't it?
definitely.
Yeah.
So this one over here, what Gloria hasn't noticed is obviously not a girl.
No.
She's not realised she's in the field with a bull yet.
He's a very friendly bull. We call him Red Bull.
Red Bull.
Yeah, so he's a Red Angus cross Galloway.
Right.
So he's a cross bull. We've kept 3 of our own bulls this year. We've got 3 bulls on the farm.
Right.
He's the oldest, there's 2 slightly younger bull. Next year we'll buy a bull. But we've just picked him out of one of the most prolific cows that always has an animal ready for slaughter at the fastest time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what if you have to buy one of them in? What's one of them cost now, Paul?
So we're just talking for next year's bull, 4,000.
Wow.
2-year-old.
Wow.
That's what he's agreed now for.
And that's a lot of money, isn't it?
That's a pedigree. Well, I presume it's pedigree. Never asked if it's pedigree. Pedigree doesn't interest me. That's a Red Angus bull for next spring.
Wow.
Yeah, to come here in April. And unfortunately, we'll hang him up because there's so much value in.
Yeah, he's a lot of meat there.
Yeah, so he'll stay. And mate, we'll split. We're putting these into block calving, which we've not done before. We're only a couple of years into dairy, so we're going to do a spring and autumn. So once he's mated the autumn cows,
Right. Yeah.
He'll be burgers.
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah.
These ones here, which tend to look a lot slenderer.
They come extremely skinny to us.
I was going to say,
yeah,
these have a big, deep body, don't they, for the milk production?
So they're a bit of an Ayrshire cross. I'm not very happy with them too. We just brought in, but their condition is building weekly being here, but they were,
Oh, looking poorly. Yeah.
And they're not really designed for this system. We prefer the Friesian, the New Zealand Friesian really, or this. We've got an Ayrshire, or these. We quite like these jerseys because of this. They're just so friendly, easy to work with.
Yeah.
Granddad
used to keep Friesians.
Yeah.
And they were a big old cow.
So these are New Zealand type Friesians.
Yeah.
The black ones there, and they're lovely, good producers.
Yeah.
Don't give us any headache. That's what we're after. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the time we used to find, different when Granddad was there because obviously there was no electric fencing, but certain cows, and it's like pigs and things, certain varieties, and just like to challenge the fences and challenge you at every opportunity, don't they?
Yeah. So stick them in the freezer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the easiest thing, unfortunately. Yeah. It's you have to be on top of your fences. You have to make sure we're on batteries here. You have to make sure our batteries have got solar panels. This time of the year it's easy because you've got a flat battery, it's charged up within an hour or so. But
bit different in the winter, isn't it?
Winter time you need a battery on charge every day. So there's the star. That is Gary.
This is Gary. This one here.
Yeah, so come on, Gary. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
I see you were walking.
Yeah, it just got the horn up his bum. Yeah. So. Not overly friendly, are you, Gary? But sometimes you come over for us this morning, didn't you?
This is the world famous. I have to emphasise this. This is the world famous Gary. He's.
I don't know. He is well. He's gone to Canada. We sent a key ring to Canada.
Is that right?
Yeah. So somebody in Canada got a birthday card from the kid from Gary, and the husband was, "Who's Gary?"
Who's Gary?
Yes, she had to say. So on the back of that, we sent her a key ring. Yeah.
Beautiful.
But yeah, he's.
They don't wander off under that fencing.
The calves do, yeah.
They do.
They don't really
wander too far from mum, I suppose, like sheep.
They get to that sort of size, they stop. When they're younger, they're a bit of a pain. They do wander a little bit. They don't go far, but you're trying to find them perhaps on their first 3 days and they've wandered over to the other side, a couple of 100 yards away. You can be looking for them for a little while. But we've enjoyed milking the cows. It's been good. So
did you used to milk in the past?
No,
that's a new thing.
I milked goats when I was 17, 18.
Right.
We kept a dozen goats at home. And we used to supply the greyhound boys with goat's milk, so just raw, not to the general public as such.
Well, I think if I was to get, when we end up with somewhere else, I think my livestock will be, I wouldn't mind keeping some goats. The only problem I found with keeping goats is you want good fencing, tall fencing. Because when I had them before, they would climb over the damn fencing.
So we used to tether them all, and we had all our goats on tethers. But I don't think you're allowed to do that.
No,
anymore.
I don't think you are now.
And that was really good because you moved them twice a day. They always got fresh food, And I suppose exactly there, moving twice a day. Well, 6 years ago, we never moved our cows.
Yeah.
You stick them in 20 acres, you put a water drop in there, and you'd go and see them in the autumn, they'd eaten every blade of grass, and they look okay.
Yeah.
But I suppose the grass, we're now outside 52 weeks of the year, moving
Right.
once or twice a day, or up to 4 times if we have done. Once a day is a lot less work. But it takes 2 seconds just to set an extra fence up and go there at lunchtime, and
Yeah.
when you're checking your animals, just move the fence.
Wander them in.
Yeah, and wander them through.
That was one of the things we saw when we was down in Cornwall. One of the farms we visited, they don't graze out at all. They only put the calves out for just while they're at a kind of Gary stage now. They would put them out for just a few weeks on the grass. But what they do is they cut all their grass and take it all to the cows.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, that way we're getting 100% of the grass. And which I like the idea of, but the problem is, you know, because if you put them in here, then they're going to trample it, they're going to shit on it and everything else. And they're only going to get a third of the grass. But the problem is that grass never, ever gets a chance to build back up, does it? You know,
so here,
you can see the density of this,
with
can't
the
you?
smaller pens. And this is probably, when they talk about ultra high density, this is not enough cows and you're not moving enough.
Yeah.
But if we had them open here and they've got a water trough over there and you stick your mineral bucket over there and they'll probably go sleep over there, they'll come here and graze. Then they'll go back over there and they're shitting in the same line they walk on every single day.
Yeah.
And the same when they go that way, there's manures. Oh, sorry, girl.
Yeah.
I'm not stroking you. And manures in the same place.
It's like a needy child.
But here we can concentrate this on this 200-foot
Yeah.
area, and all the manure and urine is here.
Yeah.
And that grass gets that, and we don't eat it. Well, we eat reasonably short, but we don't eat everything.
Yeah.
And it seems to recover.
Yeah.
The important thing is not letting them eat this again tomorrow. So
Yeah.
once it's had a little bit of recovery, within 2 or 3 days, it's starting to put the leaves back out again.
Yeah.
Then you don't want to be eating it. And we're finding we're getting really good grass growth and recovery with no fertilizers, no chemicals.
Yeah.
Just
and it looks like a nice thick mix. I mean,
and the carbon we're sequestering, and then we use a cow. So this will go into seed in 6 weeks' time. Like all your clovers will be out in flower, and you have all your seeds everywhere. So what we do then is we'll bring animals through in the morning, and we'll graze an area of the seeds that we want.
Yeah.
And then we take them back to poorer ground for about 2 days, and then that seed goes all the way through them. And then
comes out the other end.
Then we bring them back about 2 days later, and we have another half day's grazing.
Yeah.
And we leave them longer on the poorer stuff, because just in case it takes a little bit more than half a day to go through, we know that we're getting that all out on the next place. And we've managed to move clover around the farm extremely cheaply.
Yeah.
From fields that had no clover to having too much
I've
clover.
never even heard of that, let alone thought about it. So this is one of the things we've been finding as we're travelling the country, Bold, is that despite what whether it's the local authorities, DEFRA, government, WEF, whoever have all these beautiful ideas, there is nobody understands their land and their animals more than farmers do. And this is one of the things which I think we need to really, for the public, need to understand, is to get back to trusting the farmer.
Yeah.
You know, and
meet your farmer. Wherever you are in the country, there's got to be.
Absolutely.
I mean, we do what we do, and the amount of people that come to us and walk up our driveway when the shop's open, and probably quite happy if we haven't got quite a queue, because then they can nick us for 15-minute conversation and ask all them questions they want to ask and get to know us as farmers.
Yeah. One of the things I've been saying in the when we're doing the talks is, I say to people, has anyone ever written to their local MP and got the response they wanted? And people go,
no.
Well, no, of course I didn't. I said, right, now write to one of your local farmers.
Find the truth.
I said, write to one of your farmers and ask them, do they sell anything that you could buy direct from them because you'd like to support them? I said, guarantee you get a response.
Yeah.
I said, that is the difference.
A lot of farms are not set up to.
No.
But there is farms. Every area's got to have a farm.
Yeah. And I think one of the things which, when I asked the question of, one of the questions we asked and take a picture at all events is there anyone in the room that'd like to buy chemical-free food direct from a farmer? By prerequisite, the fact with the farmer, if it might be the farmer's not geared up to sell it to you direct, but it might be they have a farm shop, they have a farm shop or a butcher's that they supply. It might be a box scheme.
Or even a supermarket they might supply it with their name on it. Try and stay away from the supermarkets, but they're still supporting if they're getting the right return. but yeah, find your local farmers. Like you say, you've got the food hub, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got the foodfindershub.org, and that's
yeah, and there's Produce and Provide. There's two
yeah,
or three
that's
out
another
there.
yeah, another big one.
And they're but just wherever you Google it on the internet, there is a farmer. Try and find him direct. Try and find the small farmers, work with them.
I think that's the thing which people have got to start waking up to. You know, we go everywhere we go, every town we go to, there's 100 hands go up, all want to buy chemical-free food. Well, people need to start telling their farmers what they're after.
Yeah.
And the farmers will react to it. At the end of the day, farmers want to earn money.
Yeah.
You know, chemical-free food rather than, you know, high-density meat because they're used to chucking cows through and, you know, used to them coming to next to nothing. You know, if you take 2 years ago, what was a beef cattle worth then?
Yeah. Yeah,
you know,
not interesting like it is now.
No,
yeah.
You know, once they get up to hitting kind of 3,000 quid, everyone's going, actually, we ought to keep the food cows.
Yeah, now you can't afford to buy them.
No, yeah.
So, yeah.
So,
I mean, we bought these a year ago, and these were like in the 1,000 area, let's say, just over. And I bet there'd be £1,800 for the same animal now with the way that the beef climate has gone. Even though she's not a beef cow, she still could be on the hook.
Yeah.
So she's still got a value of that.
Yeah.
So it's but we don't supply any supermarkets. We deal with a couple of small little shops that are local village stores, things like that, and we're just basically direct to the public.
So
and we love that.
For the purpose of our audience, where are we at present?
So we're in a little village called Emnef. It's probably famous by by Tony Martin that shot the people that was trying to break into his farm. That's the village. I
remember.
Yeah. So in
died
2000.
Recently, didn't he?
He died a few months ago. We're in a little village which is on the edge of Wisbech. So we're on the borders of Norfolk and Cambridgeshire. And we farm. I think we're farming around about 250, 260 acres, mostly rented land for about 6 different landlords. We milk cows this amount, which is growing probably every couple of months. We seem to have another cow to milk because of demand. We produce beef, so we produce grass-fed beef. We produce Old Spot pork. We sell it as Brambleby Old Spot, not Gloucester Old Spot. We don't follow the pedigree on any of our livestock. We produce a few free-range eggs, although we're actually standing in Norfolk right now, not in Cambridgeshire. We were standing in Cambridgeshire a minute ago. And we're under bird flu lockdown, so our hens are in. We will double our flock size this year. We're starting to keep a few meat chickens, turkeys. We don't keep sheep. It's the only thing we don't do. We have bees on the farm. We used to be avid beekeepers. We now work with Fenland Apiaries, and they look after our hives, and a friend in the village looks after a few of the other hives, and we have all our honey from there. So that's where we are. We're online, bramblebyfarms.co.uk, and we run a little farm shop that's not much longer and wider than what this little cow is. And we open 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock on a Friday and 10 to 1 on a Saturday. And that is what we do.
Fantastic.
It employs about 6 people between part-time and full-time. And it's quite a nice, I enjoy it.
Well, the thing is, for me, as we're travelling around the country, one of the things we're starting to see is that, for me, the quality of the food comes from farms like this. It isn't coming from the big boys, and it isn't.
It's knowing it's not just the quality of the meat, or the milk, it's what's within that, what's put in it to produce it. So all of the residues that have perhaps come through from the chemicals and everything else, they're eating this, and they get 3 kilos of concentrate to help.
Right.
When they come up to be milked, they're on about 3 to 4 kilos a day. In the winter time, they're on more.
Yeah.
Because they're in a lot of goodness in this, but then we'll bowl this as well in places,
right,
to produce their own winter food.
Yeah.
So it keeps them.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, where's Gary?
Where's Gary? Come on, Gary. He's in there somewhere, or over against that post.
He's took off. Bless him.
That's Gary over there.
He's he's the star of the show these days, isn't he?
He is the star of the show. So we do every morning we have to do a little bit of "Come on, Gary." So that's Gary. No, there's Gary in the distance yet. That's Gary, Barry, Harry, and Tweedledum and Tweedledee. So don't ask, but the following seem to appreciate a little bit of "Come on, Gary" in the morning. Yeah.
Well, I think everyone needs a little bit of come on in the morning, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, he's very old. Glory, they're off. Look.
Yeah. So we don't we do it every day, and it weren't until we really started selling direct to the public. I grew up on a real small chicken farm in a little village called Goffs Oak, and there's 22,000 laying hens there, approximately, and every egg got sold to the customer. A little farm shop,
Wow.
and all they did was eggs, honey, and I used to shoot a few rabbits, and I had rabbits in the freezer, and that was the farm shop. And it was open 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Always people at the farm shop. And then we come up here and we got more involved in working on farms and farm manager, supplying supermarkets.
Yeah.
And I really didn't enjoy that. So in 2009, we ventured into Brambleby Farm, supplying a couple of pigs a month or something like that. And
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, it's phenomenal now, really.
I guess the problem is with the supermarket production, it's all about the money. And that's the problem, isn't it? You know, where you are worried about the husbandry of the animals, and that's not, you know, some of the farms we visit, the bigger farms, you know, that we notice, well, they like to talk about, you know, how Glory's been attacked.
Could be attacked by Sally. She's not
fine.
carnivore, don't worry. Yeah.
You know, so I think that's one of the things we see is the bigger farms, they might be in the position, you need to take it.
No.
You know, if you're in the position on a bigger farm, they talk about the, you know, the animal husbandry and how great it all is and how fantastic it is, but it's nowhere near the relationship you've got with your cattle.
No.
You know, you can see that. You know,
But we have, I
this
mean,
one don't want to leave you.
no, she's dopey, she is. But like beef cows, they're all nice and quiet, but we don't have this relationship with a beef cow.
No.
I couldn't stand in my field with a beef cows. There'll be an odd one that I come over and say hello, but not like this.
They won't stand about.
But
No.
we spend we milk once a day. So every day we come and we see them, we walk them back to the yard, they get their food, yeah, we milk them, we talk to them, and then they go back out. I spend more time with this cow than I do at home with the wife properly. Yeah, so it's, but yeah, so we spend a lot of time with these, whereas the beef cows, we just move them once a day, and they all come to you, they're all friendly, but this is like,
Yeah.
these
Whole different
animals
level.
are beyond, yeah, they're just a different level, really. Yeah.
That's what we want. Okay, well, thanks everyone. We've got to get back to Bury St Edmunds. We've got a home trip to do, and then we're off to Stroud for Thursday, Cardiff for Friday. See you all soon, guys.
See you later.